Hello there, welcome to my channel. Tonight I have a 28 scrapbook layout share for you. It's one of my favorite times of the month where we have one paper theme 3 ways. So I have a 28 scrapbook layout share for you tonight, and we're using 3 different styles of workshops because it takes all kinds of kinds. We're using the Memories in Bloom scrapbooking workshop kit as the base ingredient for 2 of the workshops I'm sharing this evening, and we're using the Florals in Bloom designer series paper and sticker sheet for the other workshop that I'm sharing. So 3 different workshops, 1 paper theme, 28 pages. So I have all 28 pages divided out into 3 different styles. So we have a 6-page Stampin' Up! Company workshop from the Memories in Bloom. Memories in Bloom is a scrapbooking workshop kit that's all inclusive, and it has all of the cardstock, pattern paper, and the punch outs as well as stickers needed to complete the workshop. They provide the instruction sheet, full color photos, so they show you how to cut each piece of paper and assemble each layout so that it looks exactly as the company designed it. I created this 6-page workshop without adding anything at all to it or making any change-ups, so you could see exactly how it was put together. My 10-page Simply Scrappin' workshop features the Florals in Bloom pattern paper and sticker sheet. I also added some fully flowering ephemera to help stretch it to 10 pages. I grabbed some acrylic letters from my stash to create some of the titles, and then I also added a little bit of bling. I don't feel like a layout is complete without a little bit of bling, so I added the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls because the primary ingredients in these collections are the in colors for this year. So we have Darling Duckling, we have Strawberry Slush, we have Timid Tiger, we have Cloud Cover, and under here we have Secret Sea. And you're going to see that throughout these pages. The third workshop is 12 pages, and it's a more elevated workshop, and it also uses the Memories in Bloom scrapbooking workshop kit from the company as the base ingredient, but I add more to that. So to each of these 2 workshops, I added the Memories in Bloom coordinating cardstock, which is 2-toned cardstock, and it gives you a variety of colors in the cardstock pack to be able to stretch the ingredients and create larger workshops. I also added the same in color bling to the 12-page Sparkle and Shine, and I pulled out the Notes and Totes. Now, if you're familiar with Stampin' Up!, you've probably seen Notes and Totes used a ton. It was used a lot in beach layouts and that type of thing, and I never really got a chance to use it. So I wanted to use it in a completely different way on these pages. So those are the items that I added to create 3 different styles, 28 pages altogether. So let's move these aside and let's go ahead and start with the simplest of the 3, which is the Stampin' Up! Company workshop Memories in Bloom. I did not do any elevating to these pages, but you can see how easy it would be to change up the orientation of the photos, to add more photos, to add bling to the pages, to add foam tape or dimension to the pages. Now, Stampin' Up! Likes to teach a technique in each one of their scrapbooking workshop kits, and they're teaching paper layering and tearing in this one. So you're going to see a lot of paper layering in all of the layouts, but this is layout 1 of the company workshop. And here is layout 2 of the company workshop. Again, lots and lots of paper layering. My stickers are going to look a little funny because I didn't pull the back all the way off, because of course I'm going to be tucking photos underneath those. But you can see all kinds of sticker layering and paper layering. Again, it would make a complete difference if you used foam tape to pop up a few things, but this is designed to be a base teaching workshop workshop where you can get your base and you can elevate it and change it up how you wish. Again, paper layering in this one. And that is the 6-page company workshop for Memories in Bloom. So now I'm going to show you the Simply Scrappin 10-page workshop. If you follow my channel, you've seen these pages because I took all 10 base pages from the Simple Scrappin workshop that I created out of the Florals and Bloom Designer Series pattern paper and sticker sheet and the fully flowering ephemera. And I did a full video on embellishment tips and how to embellish your pages and different tips and techniques that I've learned over the years in my scrapbooking. And I'll link that in the description of this video. Just click the More button and you'll be able to see that full process video. So we'll just take a quick overview of these 10 pages. You can see where I added the acrylic shapes, but you could add stickers, dies, anything you wanted for your own titles. Built those basic clusters, toned down the large florals with solid cardstocks, used foam tape to pop up or dimensionals to pop up both the photos and at least one element in each of the clusters. I really like to pop up at least one element in each cluster. Here is the next page, which ended up being one of my favorites. Let me square up here. I loved the banners that gave the flow moving downward, and then the larger florals on top, toning it down with some of the more muted patterns. Even though they're still bright, they're a little less busy. And then adding those basic clusters and adding words to those clusters using foam tape to pop lots and lots of those pieces up. The next one, wonderful. Again, coordinating a lot of the busy papers and toning a lot of the busy papers down with solid cardstocks and more muted patterns. This nice cloud cover pinstripe really toned this down quite a bit, but still adding some of the brights like with the summer splash. So focusing on a really large floral cluster over here, a medium and a small cluster, and a little bit more smaller photos for more photo opportunities. This one also ended up being one of my favorites. So simple and so easy. I could see using all these pages for a variety of themes. I did focus on the black and white elements from the fully flowering ephemera and just added one or two little pops of color from stickers from the sticker sheet and from the punch outs that come right in the kit. I love the simplicity of this one, but how beautiful it is. This one ended up being more of a tribute page. There were a lot of little word stickers that came on the sticker sheet in the Designer Series paper and stickers. And so I wanted to be able to use quite a few of those words to be able to make a tribute page. So I added a variety of strips going downward, a banner going across, popped up the photos with foam dimensionals, popped up at least one element from each of these two clusters and added the title and the bling. I really ended up loving that one a lot, and I don't use a lot of orange, and so the Timid Tiger was really fun to be able to use. I had some extras left over, so I thought I would make a single focal page, and this is where I said I did add an old doily die from my stash, but the rest is the fully flowering ephemera, the sticker sheet, and the punch outs. Excuse me, there are no punch outs. I don't want to get you confused. There's no punch outs with the sticker sheet this time, simply just the fully flowering ephemera and the stickers. Really, really basic, really, really easy. A couple little paper layers back there. And that is it. So simple. And that is the 10-page Simply Scrappin using the Designer Series pattern paper and sticker sheet, fully flowering ephemera, and the in color dots, along with the Memories in Bloom coordinating two-tone cardstock. Now let's take a look at the most elevated pages, which is the Sparkle and Shine. I will admit, being late out of the gate, this was supposed to be last month's featured collection, that it was a little hard to go back to florals from fall. So I really wanted to do a playful twist on the florals, and instead of having the florals be the complete focus, I wanted to try to see if I could come up with a couple different themes. There were some great themes embedded in the scrapbooking workshop, like Mother's Day, of course, was in there, and some other themes that I really wanted to take advantage of. But for this one, adding that notes and totes just made it into a shopping experience or a girlfriend experience. So I did a couple of the irregular size photos, and I did one of those for the title opportunity. A couple of those on each side are flush, and then I popped up one on each side. And darn it, I have something flying around here. And then added all kinds of goodies. So in the Memories in Bloom workshop kit, there is some ephemera, and there is some punch out pieces, and then there's stickers on the sticker sheet as well. And then by adding the notes and totes, it gave me lots of little bits and pieces to really play around with. I really enjoyed that. So this is actually part of this pocket from the notes and totes, but I cut some of those out to make cute little tabs. And it looks like this one is gone. I don't know where it is. I'll have to find that and put that right back where it goes. That's embarrassing. But I loved all the little lotions and the newspaper, and it just made for such a playful, fun layout. Shop till you drop. You could do girlfriend time, and just about anything with that, with girls, or going out or shopping with grandkids, something like that. This one was a little bit busier, so I tried to tone it down by adding some of the solid Darling Duckling. And Our Family is one of the punch outs that came right in the kit. Sweet is a sticker, and Perfect Together is a sticker. So I added strips onto white paper and tore on the bottom, added the Darling Duckling across the top, and then the floral is actually a gutted frame where I used an L on both sides so that I could stretch it into 2 pages, and that will make just a great family layout there. Added that bling, the in color dots. Of course, out of the collection, this color scheme was my favorite, and it was my favorite in the Simply Scrappin, and it's my favorite in the more elevated workshop as well. There's just something about the Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, and the Secret Sea that just makes me swoon. A very simple layout, but I did add some Cricut elements to this one. So I added a scalloped frame, which I love to do a lot. I added this little scallop piece here. You wouldn't have to do it on the Cricut. There's lots of dies that we have that would make great scallop borders as well. And I went ahead and embraced the Mother's Day punch outs and all the other punch outs and stickers that were in the collection. And then I did a little grid, but I had varying sizes and non-traditional sizes in there just for some added interest. And then I popped up a larger photo element here. Super simple, but so pretty. I think those colors just pop. Now back to some brights in the Memories in Bloom cardstock. It's such a variety of cardstock that comes in the coordinating cardstock packs. So sometimes I use up my favorite cardstocks first, and then I'm kind of down to either some that are really way too bright or they're not my favorites, but I love how this one turned out. I went ahead and embraced the green and the orange. I did make a few little Cricut banners down here, And then I added pattern paper between the layers of the Cricut banner. And then I added a stitched frame from the Cricut as well. And then most of these pieces here are the punch out ephemera. This is also a punch out ephemera. This one is a sticker. This came from the ephemera sheet. And then I created a Cricut title, Choose Happy, and added the timid tiger in color dots. I love how that turned out, and it's not colors that I would traditionally use. And so I love being able to use up every color in the pack. All right, so this next one here is those bright and bold colors as well. I ended up really wanting some jazzy backgrounds, but I was really out of paper. So what I did is I created my own wood grain paper by using the Summer Splash cardstock that came in the kit, scoring it down, and then if you score it on the light side, flip it over onto the dark side and run your Memento black ink down it. It creates a great wood grain by hand. And I'll link in the description if I have another video on creating wood grain. I believe that I do. And if I can find that, I'll link that in the description. But just paper layering again and adding the banner across a couple elements, because of course I'm stretching those elements across 12 pages, so I didn't need much. I added pattern paper, making the photo mats longer than they normally would be to be able to get a little bit more color in there, and add just like an inch of pattern paper there. I gutted the wood grain papers that I actually made by hand so that I could use one as the photo mat. I did cut this little guy out of the on the Cricut, but we also have our arches that would work great. Made a couple little tags by hand and added the bling. I really loved that one a lot. Okay, and then the last one here, basic tearing of some of those patterns, and it's that color scheme that I love again. And I'll go back through every one of these layouts in a little bit of a page parade here. We'll have a little scrapbooking parade at the end so that you can see all of the layouts without my talking. But I did actually have a really bad mistake last month. I was cutting a workshop, or it was 2 months ago, I believe. I was cutting a workshop and I was multiplying it for those of my paper crafters that needed the Cricut cuts. And there was these frames in the Cricut cuts, and I cut them all in Secret C, and Secret C was the wrong color for the workshop. So I had something like 40 or 50 sets of these Secret C frames, and I was like, I am using them. So I ended up using them again on this workshop and made something that was a boo-boo into something really, really fun. I added some 1/2-inch paper strips of the Petunia Pop underneath those frames, added those notes and totes again, and made it into a girly layout and going out shopping or a spa day. So I stamped from notes and totes, relax and enjoy. And how I got the circular movement is I took a circle, I inked the edges, and I laid it down and drew around it. And then if you want to, you can curve your acrylic, you can curve your photopolymer stamps onto your acrylic block and make them into a little bit of a curve. And I just curved around the corner there. And then I added some of the little bits and pieces from the sticker sheet and the ephemera there. Now, I did ink the edges of this circle with the Secret C, and I didn't let it dry quite long enough, so I did get a little bit of a smudge there. So I may end up having to correct that if I can't live with that. But the notes and totes, then I added some tags and some flowers from that, and all the little parts and pieces from the notes and totes, some more little notes and totes pieces up here, some stickers from the sticker sheet, and then added the bling, and that is it. So that is 28 pages, one paper theme, 3 ways. Let's have a little page parade now and check out all of the layouts. You can check out the more section for all of the ingredients used in today's workshops, and you can also check all of my workshops, the supply lists and full color photos out on the blog portion of my website at www.snipsbykelly.com. I hope you'll watch the parade and come back soon for more right here on Snips by Kelly.